Wow, escapers. It is 2022. We have finally made it out of 2021. And hopefully, fingers crossed, things will be looking a little bit better. We've got a great episode for you to start off the new year. If you joined us at Escape in the Park this year, you would have seen him at the Let There Be House stage, absolutely rocking it. It was a pleasure to get to meet him. I've been waiting a long time to see you again, sir. Mr. Simon Field, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you, Tim? This has been a long waiting chat, and I know we're going to have lots of fun today.
Absolutely. It's been a long process to get here with different restrictions. And then, yeah, unfortunately, I came down with COVID over Christmas, which delayed it even further. But we've persevered and we've got here and we've got the opportunity to chat. Absolutely, Mick, it was a real pleasure. First of all, I want to say this before we get any further. It was a real privilege to meet you and get to talk to you a little bit at the festival. It was great to be up close and personal to your set as well. But how was it just being over here in the summer? Obviously, a lot of time has passed then, but just before we go any further, what are your reflections on Escape in the Park? How was your day and how did you enjoy it?
So I I think that gig actually came with so many positive things. First of all, it was probably the first bigger gig after restrictions were lifted. So I kind of remember more or less crying inside because of the beautiful, experience of seeing all these people, all these happy people dancing so close, not worrying about fucking masks or anything. So it was, and I had so much material I wanted to play. I could probably play for about 4 hours that day because I had so much stuff I wanted to play. I remember that Mushti was late, so
Yeah.
5 minutes before my last few tracks, I was asked, "Can you play a bit longer?" And I went, "Yeah."
Yeah, not a problem. Done and done.
So I got to play at least another half an hour or 20 minutes, and that was actually the last 20 minutes were probably the most enjoyable because there was all the nerves were gone, and I kind of felt I knew where the crowd was going, and I could have just give a shit.
It was really weird as well, and I'm sure you got it from speaking. I know that you were speaking to Musti afterwards, but it was really interesting to see as well from an outsider's point of view, just the like you said, the genuine excitement and the genuine nerves that people had for like you said, like seasoned professionals like yourselves that are used to doing hundreds of gigs a year, but because it had been so long, just that kind of that first time nerves again. And it was really nice to see certain just not in kind of a malicious way, but nice to see that kind of tingle that they had before they got back behind the decks, and just to see how much it meant for them. Like you said, to see people dancing so close together and enjoying themselves and finally being free of the ridiculous kind of last 2 years that we've had.
No, you're right. You're right.
But I mean, fucking ridiculous.
It was so special in many ways, and obviously that really enforced the whole thing, that came out of fucking COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. So just going back now, obviously, as I said, that's where we met, and this little bromance that we struck up has come along from, and it's been great going back listening to some of your music. For some of the people out there that aren't so familiar with you, just explain a little bit about yourselves. I mean, just to put it bluntly, I mean, just reading from your website, you've worked with some of the greatest artists out there. You've got backing from some amazing artists, all the way from kind of Dave Guetta, all the way down to kind of Husky and all the people in between there. And you've released some remixes on some pretty cool record labels. But I would say your Spotify streaming and your playlists are, I mean, the people listening out there, over 100 million streams that you've had so far on Spotify. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's I've stopped counting after 100 million, but it's
what a place to be in life. I just stopped counting after 100 million.
It kind of gives me the opportunity and the trust in what I'm doing is something that people want to listen to and over again. And I'm a sucker for stats, but compared to other artists, I see that I have more streams per listener than many other people have. So when people find my catalog or my tracks, they
Yeah.
tend to listen to more. And I kind of, that's one of the karma I've had lately, is actually volume is a very, very interesting aspect to explore. And I'm definitely going to explore that this year. And well, let's come back to that. But I think I've got about 12 releases lined up this year or something.
Well, it was ridiculous when we were talking at the festival. Didn't you say during lockdown you'd done something like astronomical, like 160 odd remixes in something like 12 months?
No, I've done. I've been involved with over 100 releases in the last 16 months. So basically, what, one a week, or sometimes 2 a week as well. It's been ridiculous.
Well, I was looking through and just looking at kind of your discographies and just your release rates and stuff like that. And I was seeing sometimes kind of 5-6 different releases within a week, with different artists and obviously different connections on different labels. But it's just, as I said, kind of going back into explaining a bit more about what you do. So would you predominantly say that you're a producer, DJ? How would you, if you were to introduce yourself to the world, how would you go about it?
Let's get it from the start. So I'm based in Oslo, Norway. So that's funny enough your neighbor country, more or less, but it's over the pond. I'm possibly more a songwriter producer than I am DJ, especially in terms of time spent. As you said, I've done shitloads of releases last few years. I've even been involved in country writing at one point, because I love lyrics, and that's kind of strange for a dance producer to be, into lyrics. But I think that's an important part of what I'm doing. Been doing this for some 15 years. Before that, I was a musician, hobby musician, and played live and stuff. But as a producer writer, probably 15 years. I've had music in Hollywood films like Passenger, TV series like Californication. Still get like probably a monthly placement of from my catalog somewhere. Netflix a lot lately though. So, and those are both tracks that I release under my name, and also tracks that I make for specific, pitch and stuff. My main kind of genre is house and Balearic. So I do, well, I could probably play tracks that I make on Café Del Mar, but also on Ibiza High, so it's that range, if you like. It's about keeping a dance floor busy. It's about keeping a vibe. It's about, keep people smiling, basically.
So like you said there as well, Simon, so you started off as kind of a jobbing kind of hobby musician, kind of before you turned professional. But like you said there, you're a big fan of lyrics. So how did you then end up more in the kind of the dance side of things? Because like you said, it's quite a weird thing. I mean, obviously you've got, like I said, like the Ibiza, Café Del Mar. Obviously, I listened to a lot of your records, and you've got quite a lot of kind of trance vocal kind of influences. You can feel a lot in there as well throughout some of the songs. So, how did you kind of fall into the DJing side of things and kind of the producing of the dance side, rather than turning to more, like you said, kind of traditional lyrical types of music?
I got fed up with lyrical kind of music, and I saw that I always considered my DJing and my dance stuff as guilty pleasure, and thinking this is going nowhere. This is just for fun. I can go DJ every week, and I can make house tracks at home, and I can play them out. And then 6 years ago, I went to a meeting with Disco Wax for a pitch. And they went, "Oh, those tracks you can release as they are." And I went, "But we don't have an artist." And they go, "Well, you're the artist."
Wow.
And that was like a kind of positive slap in the face, if you like. They go, "You can actually be an artist." And I thought, yes, let's do it. And actually from that day, more or less, I said no to anything that doesn't interest me, or that I wouldn't do for house music, basically.
Perfect. And it's nice, isn't it, that time? And I think it's sometimes that creative push that you need from someone that isn't knowingly doing that like you said, that all of a sudden just made that lit that internal flame that really said to you, you can do this, you've got a career in this. So wow. And then since then obviously you've not looked back. So how long ago then did you start looking at the kind of the Spotify playlist and things like that? How did that come about, and curating those?
I think the Spotify playlist actually started about the same time as I started defining myself as an artist. I thought that was a natural step, actually, to, you know, create some sort of record shelf that would be mine. Yeah. You know, that defining my set, because I thought at that point Spotify was big in, at least in Norway and Scandinavia. So making playlists was more a natural thing than putting stuff on Mixcloud, which is awkward. You know, you have to take down the tracks, you mix them, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's not ideal for, you know, updating and finding. If you find a new track that goes into spot number 3 in your set, you can't do that on Mixcloud. So Spotify in that way, in that sense, is way more dynamic, at least. And I thought I'd call my playlists, or my record shelf, if you like, Ibiza, because that's where my heart is, and that's where I go when I hear music I like, or I play music that I like. So that was a kind of very natural step to me to start that way, and then it started growing by itself, more or less. So
it does seem, from looking at it, a very, very organic playlist as well. And like you said, it's beautiful that you're able then to be able to pick bits of music and drop them in. And like you said, I think, don't get me wrong, kind of live sets and things like that are fantastic. But I think that kind of playlists like that and scenes and moods are always evolving and things like that. So I think that they're always going to be changing. Like, again, like the best DJs in the world will always tweak 1 or 2 songs in a set. It won't always be the set that you will hear are kind of recorded. So and some of them are absolutely amazing. Again, like you said, you've done many a playlist there, and you said that Ibiza is where your heart is. So this is the next area now that I wanted to move on to. We've got a little bit of history of Simon as the person, where you've come from, but what is your musical influences? Like you said, you've got the lyrics, so it'd be really great to understand what were your musical influences when you were younger? Obviously, growing up in Norway, probably maybe slightly different to some of the stuff that we would have grown up to over here. But what were your early influences, and how have we got to the artist that is Simon Field in front of us? So
I think I just want to start by arresting you. I think some of the influences that I've gotten are actually pretty similar to what you would have gotten in the UK at the same time, because Norway is so influenced by UK, especially Bergen, where I grew up. It's very much like
from Bergen, yeah.
It's looking at the UK all the time. That's where all the influences come from. That's where all the the next level culture is, and blah blah blah. So you always get that in your face.
It's a very sad look for Norway, Simon, if you're looking at the UK for influence and things like that. Have you seen the state that we've got ourselves into over here?
I know, we're not looking there anymore, so don't worry.
I did see as well, though, that online, that isn't Norway the home to the most or affluential hipsters, or kind of millennials, that they're saying that the new generation from Norway are the one of the most inspirational countries for millennials at the moment.
You could well be right. I don't know. I don't care. I mean, So I think, like, well, at least back to your question there, and I think so. One thing we do have in Scandinavia is a history of pop writing that differs from other countries, I guess. Obviously, starting back in the days with ABBA, but the history is very strong in pop writing, and the culture in pop writing is very strong, and that's probably what led me to diving into lyric writing. Yeah. Also because I couldn't write a fucking lyric, and it annoyed me so much. So I thought, I have to learn this. Yeah. Went off to Nashville, did some courses, wrote with people, had like some good country placement, actually. I'm not going to talk about them now, but yeah. But that, I mean, the mix of those influences are actually, I mean, mix country with Portishead and Eric Morillo, and you probably
that's wow. That's making my brain twitch just trying to even process that in my head. That's
exactly.
That's some interesting stuff, yeah. But again, yeah, it's. I was watching something the other day, and very much again like that, like they're trying to stimulate the creative process, kind of like with improv. It's always about just pulling kind of. Like you said, one musical genre, and trying to put it with something that's totally different to be able to make that difficult connection. But when you do get those ones that fit into place, then something beautiful can come out of it. There will be a lot of shit that you make in the meantime, but again, you will find those connections that will create something fantastic.
No, but I think I wouldn't call it influence, but I'd call it a tool actually that I've learned to is stop listening to other people, and stop listening to your shoulder devil, and stop listening to, is this good enough thought? And that's led me to like a process where I've worked on production speed as part of the creative process, because being able to produce quickly have to make you trust your initial instinct. That kick drum is good enough, move on. The hi-hat is good enough, move on. And I mean, I had a session here the other day with the guy. We did a full song in 2 hours, and he went, "What the fuck happened?"
Both of you, what happened there for 2 hours? And then, but like you said, but sometimes, bam, it will happen like that. It's finding those creative forces, and if you tap into something, then you'll make something pretty quick. But again, if you're, like you said, you need to do something you're happy with. If you then are trying to fight against something, that's what's going to take the time. It's the self-doubt. It's like you said, you need to realize as well that your work is good enough, and sometimes you can over meddle with things to make it over complicated, when like you said, if you can knock things out in 2 hours like that is worth it.
I can imagine this applies to most walks of life. I mean, if a girl puts on makeup trying to look like a certain model, she's going to fail, and she's going to get so disappointed. It's the same with music. If you're trying to sound like an artist that you like, you're going to get disappointed on every fucking track you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, I don't want that.
Yeah, and it's like that. Like you said, you have to be, and I've found this as well, and it's probably something that I'm still in the early stages of coming to terms with. It's like you said, you have to get that monkey off your back. You have to realize that what you put out is good enough, and people will want to listen to it. Like you said, it's the same with the podcast. It's the same with any comedy that I do or anything like that, or presenting. You have to be yourself. You can't go on stage trying to be like someone else, because you will fail. The only way that you can be successful is if you're honest and truthful to yourself. And I think that comes out to everyone. And I think that shines through, like you said, in your music, in the conversation that you have as well. You're only trying to please yourself. Exactly. That's all you can do.
Yeah, and obviously, as you said, there will be lots of rubbish in the process, and there are lots of rubbish in the process. And I could play you hours of rubbish if you wanted, but
absolutely, yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. I can show you here. I've got a board full of rubbish jokes that just don't work and never go anywhere. But like you said, that's kind of my music library, that I'll sit there and I'll just look at those, and all of a sudden then one will catch my eye and it will turn into an idea, and then that's another 5, 10, 15-minute comedy show that I'm able to perform out to people. So
exactly.
But with your influences, like you said, Ibiza is a massive musical influence for you. What is it about that beautiful White Isle that has entranced you? What were your first experiences of Ibiza? Tell us a little bit about kind of your relationship with the beautiful island itself.
So, I mean, I don't think you want to know detail my first experience, because it's clouded. It's sleeping on the beach. It's running out of money. I think I've done all of those usual things that you have to do first time you go to Ibiza. Yeah. But I think the music came like it's what draws you to the island. It's the vibe of the. Obviously, music is just an emotional carrier. There's no practical information in music. There's just a vibe that's there, and everywhere you go on the island, there's music. The first thing you see when you get on the island is is DJ banners and stuff, and it's all about, you know, you come to a big fucking club basically, and it's got all the rooms. It's got, you can see the sun, get different experience, get different music. You can actually go on, not necessarily partying, which is, yeah, you know, when you've done enough partying, you've kind of done that, but there's still a lot to experience.
Oh, there's so much actually on the island.
And the club nights there are amazing. The sound systems in And I love Spanish food.
That always helps. Spanish food and Spanish drink is Spanish wine is always very good. Yeah, I can always remember. I haven't been back to Ibiza for a while. I'm due a visit over there. But yeah, there was certainly when I first started going over there, like you said, the sleeping on the beach, the very kind of crusty cheese baguettes that you would get from the shop, and then just sit on the beach and kind of. But it's a rite of passage. I think anyone that is truly involved in or truly loves music has gone there and has certainly lost themselves for one night or two on that beautiful island. But do you go out there much to play? Do you try to get out there kind of every year? Is obviously pandemic in the normal world? Do you tend to try and go out and spend some time out there each year?
So yes, I try to get it. Yes, I try to get every year, and it's obviously about building more and more network out there and more contacts, so it gets bigger every time, and you can do more fabulous stuff every time. Obviously, last summer was horrible. I was booked. I had a handful of villa gigs, you know, the private gigs, where you actually have to leave your phone outside, or you have to go in flight mode because the police on Ibiza is actually surveying iPhones or phones to see where there's people. So I had a few good one of those this summer. No official gigs this summer on bars or clubs, but there's definitely going to be a handful this summer. People seem hesitant to confirm gigs that are, you know, more than 3 months in advance at the moment. But so I think the only way to find out where I'm going is to follow my socials or Spotify or something, and it will definitely show up the main gigs there.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, what we'll do later on, I'll do a little segment and then I'll mention all the different details where people can find all of your music, all of your playlists, and there's certainly as well the live gigs. So we'll look at that. But obviously onto that now. Again, we can all agree that 2021 was not a good year for us all, shall we say? But 2022, moving forward, what have you got planned, mate? What can we look forward to hearing from? I know that you've obviously got a lot of releases, but is there anything that you're particularly looking forward to? Anything that you can actually tell us about, or is there a lot of top secret work going on in the background as well?
I can tell you about obviously the first release on January 14th, which is a collab with Eola and Dee Adams, who were in the writing as well. So us three did a song called Where Are We Now? That's coming out on my own label, actually, on January 14th. It's actually beautiful, kind of progressive house kind of track. I played it actually on Escape, and that was the first road test.
Okay, wicked.
So you
we'll be looking forward to, and
you guys who were at that tent that day have heard us.
Yeah, there's a lot, and again, Simon's going to be very very kind and let us have a preview of the track that we'll be playing after this interview as well. So yeah, really looking forward to that one. But have you got any trips over to the UK planned at all at the moment, or is it too early to be planning that sort of stuff from summer?
I've got at least two London gigs this late winter.
Perfect. Well, hopefully, with those gigs, we'll be able to, if you're in London, then certainly let us know. We can come down and do a bit more of an interview down there as well. But
and we can go in it.
We can go proper in it, as we discussed it in Swansea. But Simon, so I know that you mentioned that you obviously see yourself more of a kind of a producer, and DJing is a little bit more of a side thing. But I want to ask you, just with regards to, and this can be either DJing yourself, places you have just been to witness, but where is the best club that you have ever been to?
Oh, bloody hell.
There's a couple of options, if there's a couple that stand out from different areas that pop into your head. But what I'm going to ask you now is your your best club, your best DJ, and your best festival?
Oh,
Just so we can get a little bit more of an insight. I ask everyone, so don't feel the pressure. But yeah, it'd be interesting to know for someone that is so well traveled like yourself, where are the best clubs that people should be looking out for?
so I for clubs, I'll definitely go for Ibiza High. One, because of the sound system. Two, because of the rooms. Because of the bookings they do. It's actually a fabulous club. Really, is for any sort of music. So I love that one. For outdoor gigs, I would say I can't put a name to it, but I would definitely try to get to Tulum and go to outdoor venue there. There are actually several, so I'm not gonna. I don't have any preferences there yet.
Just anyone, get me to them, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. In terms of DJ, I mean, a year ago, I would definitely say Eric Murillo, which has been my all-time favorite ever. I kind of find it hard to find replacements. It's an experience of a lifetime. Such a high level of DJing, and he knows so bloody well what he's doing.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of
I have to go with him.
A lot of DJs out there like that. And again, Eric Murillo was one of the greatest at it. That just knew music inside out. It was like yourself. It wasn't just dance music. They got inspirations from everywhere, and it really comes across. And again, all the kind of stuff that Eric did with Subliminal, and I know obviously kind of Defected and things like that. So it's a great loss to the music industry. And again, like you said, some people like that are just hard to replace, and they will go down as great. But for me, I think it's from talking to you, what really shines through, Simon, is the passion for the music, but also as well the passion for the process and being kind of true to your own process. I think rather the process. I don't think there can ever be a correct process that is just going to be a cardboard box. But I think with you, I think you just, and it came across when we first met, and I think you've got a zest for life. You love life. You love the reaction of the people, and again that came through from seeing you live. Was just the pure emotion, just seeing the crowd enjoying themselves, seeing the whole crowd going. And I have to ask as well, I've seen on all of the live videos that I've seen of you, and obviously watching you live, the Chinese fortune cat.
Oh yeah,
where did that come from? Is he about?
I don't reach it. It's from a gig. It's from a gig in Tokyo, and I've got that, and I got so happy. I had so many strange and weird experiences after I got it. I mean, the first thing I didn't get late to the plane after the gig. That I actually, there was no way I could get to that plane, but I got to it, and I had the fucking cat in my hand.
So
and that's where it started. So it's like, this cat is going everywhere.
Absolutely, so, yeah. It was so funny that it was just all of a sudden, I've never seen it before. Just got the DJ box, and then all of a sudden you're like that, the cat, and then it was the GoPro, and I was like, and then I watched all your videos, and all I saw was this cat just constantly there, and I was like, there must be a story behind that. But yeah, it seems. But
he's also raving.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. He's the one that's controlling the tempo of the crowd, getting the crowd going. But yeah, it was amazing. But Simon, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, mate. I hope that we do continue to chat beyond this. And again, please let us know of any releases. We dearly hope to have you back over at Escaping the Park this year. And again, yeah, it'd be great to come and catch up with you of any of your gigs in London when you're over here. So do let us know about that. But have you got anything final to say? I'll let you introduce your track as well. But any final words for the people of Escape, for the people of the UK? Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Tim Dennis. This has been Simon Field. Simon, what have you got to say?
So I think I want to reiterate one of the stuff, that we talked about before, trying to be yourself. And it's the most beautiful thing to see. And I think I saw it in so many cases of that Escape. People being themselves is such a beautiful sight. Put on whatever you like, be whoever you are. I mean, express whatever you want. I mean, that's where you're going to get most happiness out of, and at least that's been for my case. And especially with the music, I can put out the music I like. I don't care anymore what people think. I love when people like my stuff, but I know that I put out the best music I can, at least something that expresses myself in the best way. And I think that's a good gateway to introducing my new single, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think that's the perfect segue into that.
So here we go. So that's Where Are You Now? And it's kind of looking at where are you now in terms of lost childhood, in terms of lost dreams, in terms of forgotten dreams, in terms of being playful and being yourself. So it obviously could also be where are you now in terms of where your ex has gone, but that's too simple for me. But there's definitely a layer in that song about where has my childhood dreams gone and how do I get them back? And it's actually possible.
Absolutely. And you're living proof of it as well, Simon. It's been an absolute pleasure, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to hand it over to your record. I'll give all the information out, but it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, my friend. And yeah, I really look forward to catching up with you when you're over in the UK as soon as possible.
Truly looking forward to see yourself and everyone else again.
Perfect. Brilliant. Thank you, Simon. Thank you so much.